All right, so this is kind of a part two. It's going to function as a part one. I think this part actually will frame the one that is to come. So I'm not going to give a lot of preamble now, but it'll happen in the middle of this, which kind of makes more sense than why I went a little bit longer, because I think it'll dovetail nicely. So though the progression of the spread has already happened, the setup for this is, which is now kind of aligning with what I saw initially with and kind of got into the Buffy tarot here, so Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as well as some additional cards kind of thematically setting up this scene. And right off here, we've got the Knight of Wands. That's also paired here with this Three of Stakes Dark Willow energy here. And there is this, we'll just call it like a network, right? There's this term about the sort of like these drone, and I thought it was like this drone of like, in the sky, but this is more just like, kind of monitoring folk, or, drone cult activity, or whatever that might like symbolize for you. But this network of drones, it's really just like ops, and those are just aligned with trying to create these like fear-based narratives. It's this entire structure, though, really, that is it's oppressive, and it's kind of what's being dismantled now. It's what a big part of those in the collective, or those otherwise aligned here. We're kind of fighting through and helping others fight through. There are actual like investigators that are in whatever realm. I don't exactly know the details there, but it's they're exposing a lot of hidden things. There's a lot of like a Book of Luke energy here, like nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, nothing concealed that will not be brought out into the open. I mean, this of course is like covered by the blood. Anything that's covered by the blood of Jesus, it is and that's truly like healed as a result, repentance and all that. But there's that which you've said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, which that was your like whispering quietly, it's proclaimed for the rooftops. And what's funny is like that these people are, by their own words and deeds and actions, like the ones who are they're proclaiming it about themselves, because they are, and at least in certain circles, it's what they're all about. It becomes an obsession. The greed that sort of just takes over the heart, or whatever it is, the expressions of these things, and it's the curses that were broken, the curses that are taking root or have taken root. That these people are losing their foothold with this energy here. There are key players that are positioned in really strategic vantage points. I was going to sniper shots. I don't know if they're like sniping in the spirit, or whatever it is, but it's just trust that they are waiting for the right time to strike. Just like there's mastermind energy behind all of this, and not just in a Taylor Swift kind of way, but it's almost more like the hidden agendas are surfacing, and that which was fueled. I heard like the blood of the oppressed. That seems strong, but like it was built on the house of cards. that was not sustainable, and there was an element of immorality to this. So there's selfish motives, and that which was not aligned with the higher purpose. This is a new kingdom, and a new way. There's divinity in what's being established, but that which the universe has to clear away what's there, that which was these castles made of sand and these other structures, and there's some serious darkness. Regardless of how you might feel about blood is really significant, and witchcraft and the blood of Jesus is really significant. We're in this collective, we're part of the priesthood, right? We're pleading the blood of Jesus over institutions, and that may not be your thing, but there is, and also we can probably agree that human trafficking, is bad, and the way that that fuels different empires and structures and things of that nature, and the way that there's just like so many things that are aligned with different structures and powers, and this is all part of what is being disassembled. Yes, disassembled. So yeah, there's something is being. There's a light on like selfish motives and greed and over. There's like and things that have been overdone here. So we also have the Fool. That's kind of. This ends up coupled with 4 of Chalices, which is the principle here, right? And they thought that they thought there would be no consequences. They thought that through manipulation and of their kingdom there would be no end. But there is a kingdom that has no end, but this isn't theirs, and it's the kind of thing of just like, they couldn't appreciate the value of those that they were exploiting, even genuine connections. So their betrayal was going to be inevitable. They thought there would never be consequences. They thought that they could just betray as a way of life, betray and exploit, and something that they had was so precious. And there's like a proverb of like, they're destroyed by their duplicity, right? Those are, the integrity of the upright guide them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. And so there's the unfaithfulness, as they betray others, it's their very betrayal that ends up destroying them. And it's just like, in a sense, it's a tragedy, because we aren't a sadistic people that like to see anybody hurting or that kind of thing, and especially when it's like it involves us. Like, it's their emotional detachment and like dissatisfaction, that never enough energy that created the environment for this to even happen. Because there's this energy here that we're talking about, so like, and I'll elaborate on this later, but like it's, we are, we're working for the good of all. We're not wanting to have a heart of bitterness or resentment, that kind of thing. We're in the upright. There's an integrity here, but it's kind of like Jesus can wipe the table, because that table was used to oppress others, and then it's that indignation that's not on our own behalf, which is kind of but it's for the sake of others. It's like, oh well, these over here, like, no, all of these, like, look at this was like really bad for these other people. And so that's where you can have that righteous, like, when is it okay to be mad? Like, we can be a righteous anger, because I murdered a little stuff, and it's like, well, don't let it be your countenance. So, we don't want to end up like them, or like the sort of Cain, Abel energy. But there's, this is a situation of like, there is some deep darkness here covering the earth, and we want to be the light that shines. And it's hard to be this bitter light or whatever, but sometimes we had to be that because we're among wolves, right? And we're transitioning to among friends, and we're transitioning to these we're releasing a lot of people with love and light, and we're keeping our own side of the street clean. And so Satan cannot cast out Satan kind of energy. So it's kind of like, some of you have to stay mad, because that's keeping you from letting that person back in, or whatever it is, that you can't. And remind yourself what's been done. But there's also this kind of like, we'll get to like where to heal that in our heart kind of thing. And we talked about like Satan can't cast out Satan, and also we kind of have this like Knight of Cups that's also with the two skies here, and this is like Satan cannot cast out Satan. A house divided against itself cannot stand, right? And that's why he can't cast out Satan, because he's just creating more division, and he's the one who creates division, right? And so this is like within a certain group, but it's also a microcosm of global situation and the dismantling of this network on a whole. And so this is like this little story, but this is like broad implications, because maybe this is like the root of that story, but it also is like within this like macro thing of like literally all these betrayals are betraying a betrayal. Everybody they're all selfish, right? And they're all just kind of like, no, I'm not going to tell you. And then or they're like, you've been set me up all along, or whatever it is. And so there's a place where someone really needs to just be lifted up out of there, because they wouldn't get supposed to be there anyway. But like they've been taking all their resources and whatever else, and then others are just like, there's still time to get away. And then the others like, well, you kind of made a deal with the devil, so like you've got to really call on Jesus to break that. I don't know how that works. But there's others here where it's just like, this one betrayal caused a division, and everybody's kind of picking sides. But then like, yeah, this person has been insincere and like manipulating everybody in the first place. And so there's just like, oh, you just want to hurt everybody kind of thing. And it's just like, well, I don't trust you anymore because you are so selfish, but like we kind of all are. And there's no unity. And again, the house divided against itself can't stand. And so it's creating conflict after indecision after indecision. People are switching sides. And then it creates anxiety and unrest. But like, they don't even necessarily care or know that like that's the world that they've been forcing other people to live in or to combat. And they've all, they learn to sleep at night with it, with it, whatever. But it's, because there's a charm, because there's a performance, there's a mask to all of this. A lot of these struggles have been internal. And now the mask is off for so many. And maybe you've seen it. And so there's those who were reckless, those who were misleading. This is where it's just like, there was so much deception and illusion, and so many of this like the systems were built on faulty foundations, and all the while the Lord knew like, oh well, this is the Jenga piece right here, and divine timing. And I laugh because like, but some of this is not funny at all. But it's like, all right, well, and then it's like, and there's just like these little towers that big towers, and it's just like these mass, and it's. Yeah, I'm still not the person who's like to see people get karma, because, remember the consequence or whatever. But like, it's like I know enough of my own struggles. I know when I've been shown mercy, and I want to show other people mercy, and it's just like, well, look at it, give them another chance. And God, gave Jezebel so many chances to repent, come clean, make it right, make amends, clean your side of the street, And for some of you, that is the call, and that's the big message of this channel, is to like find out where you can make your side of the street clean. But like, don't let an abuser or like whatever abuse you again, or those that are around you, or that kind of thing. So it's like, don't cloak a selfish intention in the guise of like moral righteousness. If you are writing people off just so that, because you're so mad about this other thing or whatever that you need to heal and whatever, and. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. But that's done with this Nine of Pentacles reversed, where there's like that, like if you're twisting spiritual principles to justify greed or more righteousness, I feel like there's a lot of them though. That's like, I mean, that's what the devil does. He twists the truth, right? But this Nine of Wands with the Three of Stakes here, again, is like. I mean, yeah, you have that. That's not you. I mean, the previous scenario, you have that relentless, especially in this collective, the desire for truth and to walk in the light and find the stuff that's buried. Have nothing in you. To the best of your ability. You're not a hypocrite if you want to be free. If you're like waging war on that which is like hidden in darkness and the things you struggle with, and you're like, I really don't want to be an illusion. I'm asking God to like shine the light every day. Where are the fault lines? Because that's not Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those, judgment to those who call evil good and call good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. And that judgment is been a long time coming. I mean, we're literally talking about the kingdom of the devil. And so, yeah, I mean, this is, we're still kind of sort of like sorting out where the timeline sort of is here, but as he's like, the castles are crumbling, these narcissistic monuments to man, we're not looking to replace them with additional monument to our own ego, but we're replacing them with true faith and like functionality, and to build legacies for generations. And so, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain, those that build it, right? That's a biggie. And so, the heart of the righteous weighs its answers, the mouth of the wicked, gushes the evil. You're speaking truth to power, and you're building according to heavenly, divine blueprints, not according to materialistic desires, but according to your relentless pursuit of truth and considering your actions and answers, and your ops do this and this and this, and you respond not with the same spirit. Satan can't cast out Satan, not with the same attitude, but with the appropriate righteous answer. You can be fierce in setting up your boundaries and defending yourself, and especially for other people, but you're doing it not reactively and not matching their spirit, but with a divine forehead set like flint that's set for righteous intention and the greater good of all, and not, you have to check your heart and your own selfish intentions and like be aligned of like, I know this is for like the greater good, and I know this isn't like rooted in bitterness or resentment or overdoing it, because and there's grace for that, and there's a progression, you get better at it, but it's the belt of truth we're talking about here. So we're standing firm with that belt of truth. Page 6. Okay, so a little more on this network here. Like, there's one that's being highlighted here that is more of like an energy harvesting one, and with this Knight of Wands and Three of Stakes combo here, it's like, it's driven by personal gain, obviously, and fear and that kind of thing, but it's it's far-reaching and influence. The Sun and the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, it's like there's like another power system that they're exploiting. I don't know, maybe they call it like the patriarchy or something, but it's really just like, I don't know, there's a lot of shadowy alliances here. Yeah, so it's the Fool and Floritalis combo. So they're okay. Like, they're preying on like spiritual seekers, or like emotional. There's emotional manipulation. It could be relational or situational. There's a naivety that they're cultivating almost, and that could just be through spell work or something. Or maybe they're targeting like certain people groups, or like recovery, or those bad breakups or something. 2 Corinthians 11 is like the false workers, but spiritual vulnerabilities too. So it could be like those who people pleasers, and the version of like Christianity where it's like you don't set boundaries and you can kind of justify everything, kind of like the spiritual, because they spend so much time in the five. Ask me how I know this one. Spend so much time in the 5D or the subconscious that you can see a lot of things through rose-colored glasses, and justify, and you're projecting yourself on other people, and you're full of light. Or it's a little ego too, of like, I'm so full of light that I'll just make you full of light. Meanwhile, this person, they bound to the devil and like just like karmic or whatever, but like they were taught that wasn't a thing, or whatever. Christians can have demons or whatever. So it's those who are seeking it's like meaning or connection or meaningful connection. But they're schemers. Micah, what are those who scheme iniquity, who work out evil in their beds? So there's some romantic capacities. This might be like getting a honey trap a little bit. Even with the drones, it's about blackmail recording Russians. It's American now. They're here, but Nine of Cups, Two of Chalices combo. Yeah, and that's just a leader who's just like manipulating, using manipulation to charm and then to divide, isolate from your support system, bring you out, yeah, and pray, and then energy harvest. Probably Romans by smooth talk and flattering or flattery, they just deceive the hearts of the. We're back to that full energy with the naivety, but. Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of where I feel the heart of just like to be the advocate a little bit, because here we're calling him naive, we're calling him a fool, we're calling, and there's this like, again with the Nine of Wands and the Three of Sticks, like we're not wanting them to be overwhelmed by coordinated attacks. Like, have you seen someone who's got, right? I mean, they've fell for the phishing scheme or the whatever, the honey trap or whatever it is. There's an embarrassment, there's a shame. And that's the shame that they're like getting locked into. So there's that public, because these people, humiliation ritual, that the black thing, as these things are crumbling, whatever, tapes are coming out or whatever, and then maybe people that aren't necessarily soulless, or they're kind of in between, or they're the useful idiots, more Russian stuff. Whatever it is, the people that have been set up as a public spectacle or the ritual humiliation just over and over and over. Just like Carrie's like had like $1,700 as a blood by this time. Like she gets it. Who's still laughing and finding it entertaining? I don't know. But it's like that battle of generational curses where it's the strategic nature of like, the devil is kind of like a one trick pony. But it's like the little variation on this, a little variation. Green eggs and ham with like, whatever setup, and it's eventually just like I get it, it's like hard to watch, but like you're channeling that into like joining the accuser of brethren. It's not a good look on you. But so there's the manipulative forces are wanting to silence them because they still have a divine purpose. So if the Most High is saying that they're not disqualified, but you're saying they are, then whose side are you on? Whose work are you doing? But also when it's like, because that sun is like we're needing to separate some clarity from distortion here. Don't judge, so to be judged kind of thing, but also like exaggerated accusations. Again, Russian AI. There's this digital criminal frontier as it's used in the role of public humiliation. And it's that Jezebel spirit like mocks the king or whatever. So much is done in the name of like tearing down the patriarchy that it's like even like partnering with the devil is like now. Like, tear it down. But like, how many kingdoms can be divided against itself before nothing is standing? No, at the end of the day, there's still divine order, and there's still the righteous. At least that's like swappers though. It's like it's getting really hard to see who's who. I don't get the head covering thing, and like the wheat and the tares and the angels are getting confused. Like, who's Jacob and who's Esau? Because these people are brokenhearted, and the Lord is near to the brokenhearted. So those are genuinely like, man, I sure love to, get over these pitfalls or win these battles or whatever it is. And it's like the gang stalking is just continually. I mean, they're getting the thickest skin ever through this, but it's like it's the pain of the isolation. It's the pain of, because this is like the greatest trigger warning. Pause if that's a thing for you, but like. The greatest unaliving that happens, it's actually not whatever you probably think it is, but it is the Carrie situation. I mean, it's the, because if you have nothing can be taken from you kind of thing. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. But those who have and then is taken away from them that's what causes the deepest depression spiral, those kind of things. And then those when it happens on the in-person level, then it happens on a racial level, and it happens on whatever it is, the mean girl level, mean girls, like they draw their power and their energy just by like the people that they like the most, they hit the hardest kind of whatever. Like some of you have had the wisdom to like navigate all that, and like the cat's off to you. But then it goes to a digital level with online communities, and then but then they feel that that's even worse nowadays, and they go from one to one or whatever, and it's just like eventually people are like, oh, it's the pattern, it's the thing. Oh, you got caught, like how much they pay you, whatever. Like, don't worry, I won't tell anybody, And then you find out like, so who that's who's behind this, bro. And so then so you can forgive them or whatever. But just like you gotta make amends still with who you need to. But it's that the Lord is near to those who are brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And so if you are joining on the side of the, what have you, on the network, you're actually not near to the Lord. You're far from him, and you are partnering with the accuser. So you want to defend them against the spiritual attacks and defend them against the manipulative forces that are seeking to silence them. And that's from still kind of sorting out, like, well, what if they're bound to the devil or whatever? Like, when they're reprobate, I guess, like, when do you, because Judas could have still got forgiveness. 1 Kings 1, they asked for forgiveness and then got it. So you'd have to get it, to give it. If they never do, then what do you do? If they just keep gaslighting or keep attacking, because you don't want to take on their karma. So that I get it's a little bit difficult. But like anytime you're like mocking or like taking joy or telling other people to take joy in the fall of anybody, that's I don't know. I mean, when we're talking about like essay and stuff like that, or those who were trying to get people to unalive or something, like this is such a nuance, I'm not trying to get a comment war or something like that. But I've seen too many retirement homes of people that have locked hearts and locked blessings because they couldn't get over resentment and bitterness that choked out the joy of the Lord. And I don't believe that there's a trauma that the Lord can't heal, but I do believe the enemy can keep people from the resources and the connections and the right healers to do that. But I also believe that this is part of the network that's being dismantled, and there is so much healing. And now with the information age, and those are just even on YouTube that are just like, can get you to the right resources. There's the right recovery programs, and so many of them are free. That there's, I want to be a salesman for a free heart, and there might be some cases where it's just like it's too bad you can't, and it's too bad that you can't. But it's too bad. And you can. And I don't want to talk about, I want to leave the many to go after the one, but I don't want to like keep the 99 from getting their healing because they're using the excuse that the one has, who has a legitimate reason kind of thing. And then there's so many people that are like, wait, if they don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. Fuck this. And then, you know what I mean? And then they don't get their blessing and whatever it is. And then sometimes there's just like, the Lord's going to give you a little easy pass-fail test, and then you get it. So I'm not taking anybody out of what they're supposed to get. I'm just trying to say, there's so many people are just like, who's got the best excuse? And then, me too. I need the nurse's note, right? And this is such an hour to like not have the nurse's note to be in gym class, but there's them who need it. So it's like, that's where it's like you can't make one rule for everybody. But anyway, point being, I want to defend those who are being silenced and those who are getting hit by the spiritual attacks, and remind them of the fool here with the four chalices, like the potential for these new beginnings, and acknowledge the pain of their isolation and the hopelessness that's caused by the public rejection, and get them aligned with the chosen family that is breaking out the matrix with them, breaking out this network, helping tear it down, and helping write this roadmap that we're all kind of walking here. So there's some complex spiritual traps here, and some intense energies behind this, but like the power of the Spirit is so much greater. So 54:17, Isaiah, no weapon formed against you is going to prevail. And just I would say that morning, noon, and night, like Daniel, and then you'll refute every tongue that is accusing you, those who are accusing the brethren. Even that weapon words, sometimes is that accusation, it's that smear campaign, that which is seeking to paint you in overly negative light. That's what they wants to make the spirit, for a lot of you that you're dealing with, whatever, is the mountain out of a molehill maker. Now they're using AI to do it. Now they're using just rumors, just like invented stuff, completely just like, I just wanted to be a part of the team. They were all making up stuff. I felt left out, so they did it to me too. You know what I mean? It's just like when it becomes popular to be your op, you probably are doing something right. So to the degree that they tried to humiliate you is at the degree that you probably have some like massive calling, and they hate your light. And the gang stalking is so that you don't see your light. So it's like that's like the whole point, is so that if everybody says it, then she'll never believe that she still has a plan. Look what she did. Look at all this stuff she did. Look at her past. Look at all the different curses they put on her and all the trauma they gave her. The devil's like, yeah, now I traumatized them real good and real young. They'll never like take down my kingdom now. And it's like, and then no one will want to partner with them to, do that. And it's like, actually their partner had it worse, and like that he's been praying for her, or she's been like time jumping and keep planting little seeds here and there, and like watch this movie or read the scripture or whatever it is. And so there is this weapon is not going to prevail because we're not accusing, but we're near to the brokenhearted. We're helping save the crushed in spirit. We're reminding them that every symbol is like getting them back on the path. So we're defending them against the spiritual attacks and the manipulative forces that are seeking to silence them, because we're remembering that that's what's it's supposed to silence them. So we're not going to help silence them and get petty and take the cheap shots and whatever, like join their ops. But yeah, that faith that suffers long, that vanilla sky, every passing moment is another chance to turn it all around. And with that, we'll transition to the earlier section. Welcome back to Gino. I'm going to do another reading for the collective here. Of course, just take what resonates, and also see confirmations too. There's resonating, and then there's something that speaks exactly to your situation, or there's something you hold on to, and then it ends up being that it's important enough. You just wait and see if it happens. So don't force it to happen necessarily, unless you feel that you have a confirmation or two. More like Elijah. Put some water in the wood before you go down the fire, kind of thing. So, and that might be something that I think we might be channeling a little bit here, is on those kinds of things, because the stakes are so high, and you can't expect the reader to necessarily do all of like every single appropriate caveat. There's almost unwritten side here, and I think there's some things that guides and ancestors are maybe wanting to kind of drive home to, that can actually hinder the very thing that you're trying to manifest, or actually work against the very advice or whatever it is, the entertainment or advice or whatever it is that you're seeking to apply. But there's a lot going on with manifestation right now. There's a lot going on with like timeline jumping, and it's some have said it's even for some, it's the kind of thing where kind of narrows into 2 timelines, or it narrows into like really significant ones where you want to be on the right side of this. I think a lot of you, if you're in this collective, you're already on the right side of ones, but there's almost even still a you want to have your optimum situation within that, and also not to take any detours. Some of you have had enough detours. And then also there's this term, it's a scripture, it's like missing your time of visitation, or missing the moments when your soul is required of you. Both of those things are kind of the same spirit. Another picture of Mary and Martha. God is in the midst, and Martha misses her moments, or misses her visitation, right? I can go on. So, and that's what we're kind of seeking to do. So, misapplying an appropriate use of this directive. Some of you, this is with old hat, and this is not even the entire thing of the reading. It's just something that may come up. But I just think that there is something to like choosing sides, choosing information, choosing who you're listening to, and choosing even how you're using your intuition. Okay, when we're talking about manifestation, a lot of times there's this thing where it's like you do have to detach from the outcome, because that's going to free up the universe to manifest it. Okay, and and I mean, I know that's kind of a given platitude, I'll credit to Draconic Priest to some, of course, for most recent, I don't know, it could have been an old one, but like in my experience, most recently, echoing that truth. But also, it's kind of building on that is concepts of like over focusing on certain outcomes and certain expectations, and even when we're maybe either getting time frames or holding on to those too rigidly. And maybe it's like, well, we had the personal reading, and then we asked for the time frame, or they gave it, or they said we'd get a time frame if we paid for the thing, or whatever it is, and then it turned out to be like, well, that was a 3D time frame, or X, Y, and Z happened, and now it's on this one. Some of these things are interconnected, and there's cause and effect. You make one decision here, and there's the butterfly effect kind of thing. So what can happen is just like, well, sure, if everything stays on an even course, but we're, we stop our, Waking Life, Community, Darkest Timeline, so many different movies are coming to mind, but like you snap your fingers, you do this over here and whatever, and now it could be technically a different timeline a little bit. I mean, it's even hearing the information, it could put a seed of a thought in your head that ends up with this. And so it's like, if we don't overcomplicate it, but I think there's so many different things. Yeah, some of you are on this like Groundhog Day type timeline thing or whatever, where you're not experiencing some of this stuff. You're experiencing time linearly, but you're not necessarily walking the path to your destination in a linear way. And some days you're at the finish line, some days you're over here in the middle. And by the end of it, you through each day, it all adds up to you getting there. But like your assignments are on a course that's an order of lesson learned, and the lessons kind of built on each other, more than a checklist of items like you're on a scavenger hunt and you have to find them in a certain order, if that makes sense, just to make some metaphors there. But that's like what it looks like. And so it can frustrate when you feel like you're at the finish line, but really you're just getting like some pieces that are going to be really lessons and insight, and you're building things and setting things in course that are qualifying you for certain things. It's all going to serve you at the finish line kind of thing, or you need encouragement, so you're being celebrated, you achieve something significant. And so it's, it isn't the final boss, but you feel like it is, and you get your hopes up that kind of way, or it would just kind of seem like, well, if I do just one thing, then I win, and it's that energy, quantum leap. Why haven't I leaped yet? So just detaching from it, just keep doing the right thing, detaching from the outcome, but continue to manifest the abundance and, that which has been promised to you. Continue to take the promised land. You are a chosen one. You're walking your path. You're a high vibrational being. You're making choices. You're choosing light. You're choosing life. You're choosing integrity. You're not taking shortcuts unless you told permission to, if you're doing that, you know what that is. Yeah. I'm not saying, you can work smart and hard, and there might be things that are, going on that you have permission for, or whatever it is that looks like. But yeah, I have so much to say about the last point, but if I raise questions for you, if you feel like I said something off, trust me that I didn't. But yeah, let's just jump into it. With that said, okay, I'll build on that. But that's not even the whole point of this message. I don't know. I'd like to cut that down if I edited. We have the Knight of Wands. Those two just jumped out, but they're face down. So let's see. The Fool and the Sun. And the Nine of Cups. These are all upright. We have two Knights, and and actually the Sun was first. And these are on our edges here. Okay. Okay, so really interesting. And I should mention that I am going to get into the chosen one, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot here with these, but the way that I like to do these is to just kind of draw this initial energy and use different decks to kind of build on those. But there's an amazing guidebook that comes with these that Spirit keeps confirming things and then speak in really cool ways, because again, it's the same allegory of the chosen one, and they're not part of our Buffy want us and like to leave a message because they're yeah. And I think I'm going to be recording them, or at least the debriefs, and posting those too on the Discord or something. But yeah, there's a lot of insight there. So, and some of you may have something similar where there's the universe speaks to you through music and movies and television, things like that. But yeah. So, but the other interesting thing is that this is like bookended by 2 nights, and I've thoroughly shuffled them. But the earlier reading I did also was the other 2 nights. So it's really cool. So, but this is the Knight of Wands and Knight of Cups here. This Knight of Wands here is kind of like, there is this kind of aligning with the energy I was looking at earlier, or just like, setting this up here. Yeah, it's and I'll just be pausing to clear my throat here, but it's like it's drone cult activity was the phrase, and I was thinking it's the drones that we're hearing about all the time, but this is not that kind of drone. This is like a drone, like a robot, or whatever that is, like the monitoring spirit kind of thing. That's I mean, it's the ops basically. Your opposition. It's, in this case, I feel like it is like whatever the force is that's sort of creating a fear-based narrative, and that and I mean, if there's a reader in that, I'm not blaming the reader, but I'm just saying that the way that your energy responds to that reader, it's continually anxiety and fear, and not your intuition. It's more problem than solution kind of thing. Then that's where, I mean, if it's, of course, if it's laser point accuracy and you feel like you're supposed to be there too, that kind of thing, just make sure that you're answering that in your own mind as soon as you can, with whatever spiritual protection needs to be done if you're not hearing that, or how to align yourself with a higher vibration, figuring out what's leaving you vulnerable to that, if that is, or whatever it is, not making certain decisions so that you have the peace. And that's where you have to either seek a different reader, or there's plenty out there, maybe a personal, or just like kind of just finding ways to ground and guard your energy. And that's what I feel like this Knight of Wands is kind of getting at, is like there could be distractions, doubts, temptations. What when I was talking about earlier, the wrong spirit that puts you on that just kind of takes you out of the path off of the finish line, and over here to the sideways, or just like, because I just feel like with the collective, there was a concentrated effort to intimidate, or it's a shake on everything, but it's like your confidence, like your direction. Yeah, and it's kind of putting your fire out a little bit here. And so this is like reaffirming, and this is that declaration that we're making now. This is, I mean, it isn't the upright. You're on this path here that, like, that's not going to take you out. Like, it's, and maybe you already knew this coming in, or whatever it is. But in that face of that, you're on this path of like you're aligning with divine will, divine purpose, and it's giving that, like, not today, Satan kind of thing. It's like just keep in mind, just look at this, visualize the shield of fire. Call in your spirit team, call in Archangel Michael, and just for that strength and protection. So, because the sun is just like this, there's clarity here. Like, you are getting the insight, everything that's hidden in the shadows. That's the illusions, of which there are many, and the manipulations. There's some, I think, like, you maybe have ascended into like some insights, and like there's understanding, and there can be a tendency to even think that you've arrived, instead of saying, keeping that childlike energy, right? Because you are a beacon of truth and light, but the true scholar is always learning, and you can't enter the kingdom of heaven unless you become as a child. Jesus said, and there's that childlike faith and childlike teachability, and that we're always growing, and it's always worked this way until it doesn't. So until you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And so that's that flexibility. It's it really, it keeps us from pride. It keeps us from having to go through an ego death. It's the humble thyself lest you become humbled kind of thing. It's that humility and willingness to co-partner with spirit, and it's like, yeah, you're an ascended master and you've got all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, what you are in the spirit, but you're, how long have you been alive, and what lessons are you accessing? And every day we got to wake up and it's memento. So we're accessing and walking in that, and we're getting to that place of wisdom. And a lot of times in this collective, it's like the further, the stronger the call, the stronger the ops kind of thing. So yeah, you see the surface thing and you're giving it another look, and because you have access to the clarity, and it's easy to think after you've had a lot of victories and you're realizing your power and you're realizing what you're walking with and kind of, strip packing in the spirit. And it's like to think that your ways and your decisions are your higher self, and your spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. There's that fleshly, that knowledge, that arrogance, this Icarus kind of energy, right? Flying too close to the sun, rush, bravado, Preborno wings, flying too close to the sun. If our moment of glory is over before it's begun, right? And that, brilliant song, R.I.P. Neil Peart, hopefully channeling him in the collective at times, knock on wood. But it's like, that's that same energy of like, oh my God, the devil loves to take people at the finish line. Ambrose Bierce was that poem, that Lucy with the football thing. And that's that hope deferred makes the heart sick that drives these drone people, whatever. They want to defer your hope so that you get your heart sick, so that you get in a low vibration. It used to be so their magic would work, but now the spirit team is even on that. Though I'm not, don't fly too close to the sun, don't test that. Because your fire does burn too bright to be extinguished. So I don't want you in fear, but I don't want you camping out like David in Ziklag, and not like staying on your grind, because like you can diminish your return, and like other people are depending on you. You've got a reputation. It's just like there's a lot. Again, I don't want to do this without guilt or shame. Because that's also what your ops want to do with that, you don't want to make things harder on yourselves, and you want to work with their spirit team, not against them. And you don't want to have singed wings. That's not fun. And then and people because then they're pouting, and they put themselves in the spiritual timeout, and then it's, and there are, you can miss your divine moment of visitation. That's what it is. Martha did not lose her salvation or whatever it is. She didn't, she still got to have God as a house guest, right? Some of you maybe have entertained angels and not even known or currently are. That's how that works. But she nearly missed her moment of visitation. There's greater reward. Every day counts. I agree, and the good stuff counts so much more than the bad. But there's it's that parable. Your soul is required of you, and when that roll call happens, you don't want it to be a Bueller. Okay, I think I've hit that part hard enough. It's just like there's nuance there, and there's a tendency to overdo it or get into shame, and that is like that's what that Jezebel energy does, right? Because it's like. It's that Russian spy thing of like they tempt you, but they like, there's the recording in the hotel room or whatever it is. It turns into blackmail. Then now you work for the ops. You are an op now, or whatever, or not. Or you just like put the tape out. I don't care. Like I'm proud of that. No, it's not that. Not that at all. It's actually, there's a guilt and shame, and there's whatever it is. Like they use AI stuff and they make it look worse or whatever. It's like just don't even trust that stuff. It is there is something too with like. With AI, this is that Daniel 12:4 thing where it's the the increase of knowledge and technology. That's not just for the spirit and for us and for the chosen, but it's for the ops and where this is going with like Neuralink stuff like that. The mark of the beast, and not like a cool Iron Maiden way. Very much in like a hellfire, and not hellfire in a cool way either. Like this is like pain and misery, and like it doesn't end kind of way. But like we're not on that side, and if you're watching this, you're not, you're ready to take those zombies out, if you know what I mean. So there is a shield of divine fire around you here. This is a sun energy here that's like you're illuminating. Like you're seeing stuff, and it is like that. They're all like, how did you see that? Like, I blinded you from that like 7 different ways, And it's just like, just no. Like I saw that 7 years ago. Like you thought you could hide it. You've been hiding it for a week, and maybe it didn't exist before last week, but it did to spirit. And spirit's like, all right, no, it's in 7 years. It's just, it's a lot of this stuff is what is that called? It's a movie, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Always Sunny. It's like they're like the M Night. See, Slumdog Millionaire to all of us. Like whatever. It's like it's he twisted all of us. That's the twist. You're given the M Night twist. That's what you keep hitting them with, is that plot twist energy, right? Because the sun is like, yeah, you've been here before. You know that this happens. And you're just like, and this is that divine shortcut I was talking about. It's like, yeah, there's the guilt and the shame. We're going to just bypass that blood of Jesus, and then, yeah, now we know where the pitfall is, and we can tell other people, hey, watch out for that landmine. Some of you have friends collective too. You're in that forerunner energy. So, and the forerunners, because they have all the arrows in their back, and like while everybody else was kind of chilling, or like they were taking the brunt of the attack so that they could like shortcut up the mountain. License 220. That's me now I know. But yeah, in that place too, it is a place of witness and going into strange territories to be that undercover agent. And then the sun comes out, and whoever it is revealed that they are, and then that light comes, and it's like, oh, and you planted all these things everywhere, and these are all set up, and this is all like you've put booby traps and everything. And the ops are like, and they thought they were like setting them for you the whole time. Yeah, it's that. Some of you might usually like play poker, and it's like that Jackie Chan like Drunken Master reverse judo thing, but it's like you play loose at the beginning, and then you tighten way up, and they're just like, I've been bamboozled. But they had like 3 people like looking over your shoulders and cameras, and they were cheating like it was like a rigged casino. And yet, spirit was just like bold, or whatever. Don't try that. Spirit isn't always, sometimes that's a lesson. Unless you have like clear direction. I don't want to speak for spirit in that way. But I would, if you can, depending on location, spend time in actual sun so that you can recharge your spirit, like a grounding kind of thing also. Because I feel like there is some darkness too that people are in, that they need to connect with elements and kind of just like let that get kind of just regrounded, recentered, and that darkness kind of just breaks right off of you. And yeah, there's something too just about if you can't, YouTube image therapy, just like picturing, your brain doesn't always know if you're watching 8K or 4K picture that's or on your phone, whatever. Is that these like serene sunsets, or drone footage, the good kind of drone. Picture you're in an airplane flying over a sea, and throwing on like the some of those manifestations like chakra aligning, clearing messages. That's for somebody. But the Fool here, I just love this artwork too, because like she's just like hovering, everything she's gonna fall, but she's flying with style, falling with style, or but she's not falling, but she is taking a leap of faith, a new beginning, and that she's charging her crystal. Well, it's like spirit's got my back kind of way here. So yeah, it's that first perspective, like when you get in the sun and you see things again clear, and it's fearlessness too. It's the walk through the darkest valley. I'm going to fear no evil, remain grounded. And this, yeah, you're protecting your optimism, because that's what you're manifesting these positive outcomes is with that trust and glass half full. So, and it might be somebody like, for some of you, this is a message or something that like you're giving to someone else or something, or there's like, it's maybe speaking to you, and this is a transformative thing that someone else is in darkness. And so a lot of these things, like, if you, maybe if it's not for you, but it's like, but I know someone who needs to hear this, and then this is like sparking you to another variation, and then you will build on it, and then put your own thing on it, whatever it is. Copyright's the right to copy, but it's like you're bringing somebody out of fear mongering, or that have been fear mongered, or in that mindset, or has been holding on to outcome for so long that it turned into bitterness. Because sometimes you get exhausted. Well, first of all, it's exhausting holding on to that outcome. But, I mean, because I'm seeing a marriage too, where there's like, you were on the right path, but then your partner was in darkness, and there's something about where like, we're talking about spell work and, digital spirit, whatever it is, and like you end up constantly in the wrong place, or like these low vibrational things, these little karmic things are happening. You're taking on their situation, and you're slowly losing sight. So we're talking about like what happens to a dream deferred, and then it's that heart sick that happens from that. And so because this is like you're flying, it's not flying too close to the sun, but it's like taking on someone else's weight, and the burdens of that, because of that, these like, we're in the season where like a lot of the karmic opposition or whatever, a lot of you are getting free from that. And so that weight, just like maybe you don't even remember you have wings, or the burdens of that, were just like, you're not seeing the light, you're not in the 5D, you're used to coping with wrong mechanisms, and like you were just like this pure-hearted person. And so it's that you're needing to make sure you're listening to the messages and feeding your heart on that which is putting you back in the light, reminding you who you are, and not getting to just the fear, but it's reminding you into the like, though the stakes, know what you're up against, know the ups, learn and develop your intuition to where you're getting to that, and you're seeing the 5D. But it's also like, just be aware of like waking up with that diligence, and that like, eventually you learn that lesson. Oh, I gotta wake up and I gotta get my mind right, because I start to like, it's like you can put that plane on autopilot overnight, but like you start to dip, and like you gotta turn the engines on. You gotta, whatever that looks like for you, you're listening to, you're getting your crystals, you're burning your stage, you're doing your affirmations. I think it's affirmations. Like, I mean, I don't know another way, honestly, because you've got to renew your mind according to, whatever it is you renew your mind to. For some of you in this collective, it is scriptures, but it is your calling, your destiny, and who you are, and that which what it is. So, but this Knight of Cups here, I mean, this is like they're trying to dim your light. They're trying to keep you, your intentions pure and open-hearted. There you go. They're trying to block your heart chakra. They're trying to get your eyes closed, and you want to be that. You want to keep that. You want to stay in love with yourself, in love with your higher self, in love with you're calling back your soul fragments. You want to stay in love with your inner child. You want to stay in love, completely self-contained, because that source flows through you, and that light is there. 1,000 other lower temptations that bring you to a lower vibration lose their luster, because you are illuminated with who you are, but like who source is in you. And then, some of you are beholding in the beauty realm, the Jasper and the Sardis Scott, the source, you're beholding most high, and there's no earthly thing is like can compete with that. No illusion or temptation or there's this experience of being in joy. And so why would I settle for bitterness and resentment when I can have an open heart and a free heart? Why would I say not forgiving this person, or just waiting for that person to cut me out so I can let them have it or whatever. And hey, I'm not shaming anybody. Do what you do. I'm just like trying to give you little examples of just like when you live in that energy, and then your heart, you close your heart chakra, and then it's hindering your manifestation or your connectivity with your higher self or spirit. And so, and again, this could not be you. It's just someone that, maybe you're the vehicle for this message down the road, or, take it as a resonate, or it could be applied, or just, give me the feedback or where I'm off or whatever it is. But like, I think there is this like, if you're going on Archangel Raphael for some like healing and emotional resilience, or you're doing a meditation, with a chakra meditation to get your heart kind of open back up. It might be some Reiki that you need to do, but like there's, you're making sure there's no energy that's disrupting your creativity, your divine flow, your connectivity. And I feel like it is affirmations too, but it's like the kind for someone where it's like you're realigning yourself with who you are, and with releasing people and places and things where you were controlling, or you were frustrated that you couldn't control, and it turned into resentments. And that's all part of this like release of that, Antichrist spirit, the Jezebel spirit, the control spirit, it's that dark witchcraft that is going to get that outcome, hell or high water, and either getting your own vengeance or whatever it is that backfires a locked heart. The backfire is fear. There's healing that's like additionally available. There's like a massive grace and an accelerated pace for this, for those who will take most high up on this. Okay, yeah. So yeah, again, it's that energy of just like becoming like little children to enter the kingdom of heaven. That humility, that childlike faith. We're not being childish. We're being childlike, and the difference is that we're immaturity, but we're, every day is the manifestation coming today. A month later is the manifestation coming today. 3 months later, we're not just giving up like it's probably next year. No, we're still like, it might be tomorrow. It's not, it doesn't have to be like you're completely, it's like excited and joyful all the time. It is, you're just like, don't forget, it's a channel, like to quote someone, I can't remember who, but it's like a channel, you're just like, it's always going to be there for you. Just don't forget to turn that on. Like, it might come today, and that just like, and some of you just like look for that Advent energy right now. It is that, right? So what day of Christmas is this? That kind of thing. Like, you get a little down payment. The kingdom of heaven is already not yet. It's already in part, not fully yet. New heavens, new earth. It's not fully yet. It's not new. It's renovated. It's a whole different message. Okay, so let's get some clarity on these from the Buffy Tarot. It's a divine test, but the very fact that you're on the test and getting this message means you're on the right path. Testing, I guess, is better. There's several. You're being guided by greater forces than the ones working against you. Of course, don't forget that. It's that greater is He that is in me, thermal spirit, than he who was working against me. Are those. But it's, you're walking in the light, you're filling your eyes with the light, you're filling your ears with the light, and we're not yielding. We have the Ace of Chalices. You get a view of that. The Four of Chalices. That would be a Mr. Principal. I want to say Skinner, but that's Simpsons. The Moon. These are all upright. faith, I think. Massive faith fan. Oh, it's coming out weird. This is the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Although I'm gonna get one more on that because that one kind of came out weird. I feel like I'm supposed to get something different. Yeah, please pray for my throat chakra because this is like I've had depression like this. I mean, and it started when I started the channel, but all right, we got the Five of Pentacles, and I think these are Glory's minions. Okay, we'll get into the cards as we kind of go through here. All right, so we're going to look at the chalices here, and from the Buffy guidebook. And again, look for spirit to speak through this, but to the degree that resonates and confirmed. The Ace of Chalices finds you like Anya on her wedding day, finally getting or understanding what love is. You have realized that alone isn't better and are ready to open yourself up to a deep, lasting relationship. This can mean healing an estranged family member or family, finding a new best friend, falling in love, or even becoming a parent, as love takes all forms. But however this manifests for you, take this as a sign to say yes. Okay, so yeah, this is not having a closed heart, kind of what we're talking about here, right? Not closing yourself off to healing that which could be healed. And that could be a strange family member, a new person, some of you are like, hey, I have 3 friends, that's all I've ever had, that's all I ever need. And then it's like, well, actually this chosen thing is, or whatever, this is like, it's a network, what have you. I mean, you're still finding a chosen family, as it were called, but Taylor, the one. But it's even becoming a parent for some, but it's a sign to say yes. And yes, if it's a sign, vulnerability can mean that can be hurt. And we just did Community Season 2, Episode 1, and the issue of being vulnerable. It's the end of Season 1. Britta's put herself out there, and she spends all summer thinking that everybody is laughing at her, mocking her, because she was transparent with putting herself out there with somebody that she had feelings for or wanted. And only to find out that the entire school is her, at least the women were, chanting or shouting her name, and were like, you were so real, so authentic, celebrating her for being herself. Now, that went to her head, and then she began to keep the show going for them and actually miss out on what she actually put herself out there for. But that actually was probably, I don't know. Abed was the karmic working against them because Abed secretly liked her, but I digress. Not so secretly, probably. Okay, so the Four of Chalices, does it seem like every single night is the same arrangement? When you go out and fight the fight, have you been going through the motions, walking the part? Does it seem like nothing can penetrate your heart? Well, the Four of Chalices encourages you to do a hard reset and reconnect with your life's purpose. What do you find meaningful, and how can you get back to it? So, if nothing seems to penetrate your heart, do a hard reset. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you mean again, thematically, it's opening your heart. Now, this is saying to do a reset to open your heart. So it could be a sense of life's purpose. Like, what did you sign up for? What was the thing that the other people have been trying to keep you from doing and are trying to get you to close your heart to? What were your opposite trying to do? What's the drone cult's activity? There was a fear-based narrative. They wanted you to fear this because you were trying to do that. Well, what's that? And then how, the only thing we have to fear is fear ourselves. Nail part again. Well, FCR, but strengthen your arc field with visualization techniques and prayer. So visualize what you want to manifest and what could be manifested. Okay. And we have the moon. For those of you wondering, Willow is the magician and Tara is the high priestess. And if you sign up for the Buffy reading and you're like, what is this chosen stuff? Then just search hashtag chosen ones. Okay, so it is Faith here. Her faith was a little bit different, but the rest of it, that's a great faith picture. And she is there. I mean, she's, patrolling, and the moon's behind her. And in the soft glow of the moon, secrets are revealed. And everyone is just full of surprises, especially you. Haunted by a tragic past, Faith is filled with bravado, there's that bravado from earlier, and denial that make her think she belongs with the other monsters. It was Buffy. Don't get me started. Buffy was a big part of why she thinks she belongs with the monsters. But it wasn't until she performed that she embraced her recalling and unleashed her inner hero. But first, she had to heal her heart. Under the influence of the moon, you may similarly be ignoring your own trauma. We've been talking about Buffy season 6 and calling back the soul fragments. But Faith as well. Are ignoring your own trauma and are just now beginning to realize how it stunted your emotional growth. So this, being emotional growth stunted, calling back the childlike Faith. The card encourages you to dispel the illusions, sun energy, and shadows in your life and getting to the root cause of the problem and fixing it for good. So what is in your subconscious? What is your intuition saying? What is it that you need to heal? So your heart is closed because of the fear message. What is the trauma? Okay, and this is where I'm not a medical provider, and consult the appropriate authorities related to certification. That's important to you. Say it is. Some of the stuff, when you're talking about trauma, you want to have somebody who knows the way and has a successful track record of getting people through that. And then, if you can afford that, or if it's a life coach or whoever, just get, sometimes those can be opts too. Use your intuition. But yes, someone who can authentically bring you through, that wants to see you succeed, kind of thing, and has real tools that you believe in that work. But maybe you don't. I've used ChatGPT sometimes to just do my own work on healing traumas, and YouTube and things like that. But again, that's what I did. But I also had 3 therapists at one point. So do what you feel is right, but don't ignore your own trauma, or your own shadow work, because that's it's literally saying here that can stunt emotional growth. That can be part of what's closing the heart, and I know it's a hard phrase, and Jesus says it just as hard. Unless you become changed and become like little children, you can never enter the kingdom of heaven. And that's that rigidity that we take on as that emotional growth is stunted, and we don't enter into the kingdom of heaven. We don't enter into the promised land. We don't enter into the divine partnerships. We don't get the bag. There's a financial debt that mirrors the karmic debt, because we don't break the generational curse, because it's all just like becoming like little children. It's just like that willingness to say, okay, well, there is a mountain here of ice, and I'm just going to keep chipping away at this trauma. And it might be a little bit each day or a little bit so in, but We know when we're avoiding it or making excuses. Some of us are the best excuse makers or whatever, but it's just saying there's a fresh grace and an acceleration. There's a shortcut in a sense of just like, there's no shortcuts, but there is like there's an acceleration of like spiritually, where you do a little bit of effort and the spirit's going to meet you halfway, I think, for some. And so just like claim that and start on the right path if you feel like that's you. Because part of this is that we are warring against principalities, not against flesh and blood, we're working the strongholds of our mind. So where's the car alarm of your mind that you need to turn that off, so that fear-based narrative that's knit to that trauma that says, if I do this, this will always happen. I can't do this because of this. That's a limiting belief. That's a curse that you've believed, and that's a box you've put yourself in. And so that's an illusion that this moon, kind of speaks of. And this is we've got the sun and the moon, and it's like, well, there's a grace for this to be lifted and to start to do some of that shadow work, whatever it is, to find out where that narrative is about. And this is like more of a long-term thing, of a long-term narrative, I think, a little bit, or it's a pattern that keeps coming up. The devil comes at an opportune time. So it's maybe it is when you're about to finish line, but then that's that self-sabotage that comes in because you've believed the thing that I can't just like walk into this, or I am not even going to kick the football because I'm so used to Lucy moving it. But whatever the kind of belief is, because that's what the grooming of the enemy kind of does. And so visualize yourself kicking the football. Visualize, what if it comes today? But also work on that trauma, work on that reparenting of that inner child of like, where do I need to reparent myself here? Because like, what is your intuition saying? Have you been ignoring a gut feeling about something and you're just telling yourself it's anxiety? Or was your messages that you bought into, and is there a vital piece of it that you're missing? And I'm kind of feeling I should go to the Pentacles now here. So this was the five of Pentacles. And I'm not trying to make every reading be about shadow work. It literally it's in the book. I've never got that card before, and it's literally in the book. So that might just be where we're at today in the collective, or in this season, I guess. It's not necessarily, I don't know. Always going to be a thing. So the lesson of the Five of Pentacles can be learned in one, Cordelia Chase. So you may be feeling like you've lost everything. Money, status, popularity. That's in like Angel. Spoiler. So it might seem like life has kicked your butt and left you in an alley to suffer, but what do you stand to gain? And maybe that's not where you are right now. But like I said, this just could be a message that you're called to speak in some way. But Cordelia lost friends when she embraced a loving relationship and she developed a stronger work ethic and resilience and used her setbacks to build strength. And so can you. And like I said, in this collective, the forerunner thing, it's like the lessons we're learning and the things that we're taking on, all of the landmines that we stepped into. We're writing the map, like in the spirit, and that map. We're the trailblazers, and then we end up with a map to pass down to other people so that they know what the pitfalls are. So that's kind of the price we pay. But for like, this is what we signed up for, kind of thing. But you just remember, these setbacks are for a reason. Every stumble is, okay, well, you hit every one of those landmines, and then you went. That one wasn't even in your path, and you went over and you hit that one too. And it's like, your spirit team's like, we're going to find all of these so that no one else has to like get tripped up here, or we can minimize the tripping uppage. So, because there's, the authorities are rulers, authorities, powers that be. Yeah, there's some craftiness that is here. It kind of feels like something like they're not playing fair, but like, we're kind of part of the team that evens some of that stuff out. And new levels, new devils, but also like there's exponential reward. That's the word I'm looking for battles. And again, I'll never stop saying it, just because it's like, you know, every symbol is only strengthening your resolve to cross that finish line. So we don't do shame here in this collective, and don't let anybody make that part of your fear-based narrative designed to lower your frequency. And if someone starts to do that, just realize, oh, okay, so you are trying to lower my frequency. Or the gatekeepers, or those who, whatever it is, they're like, you know, they turn it into, you know, a smear campaign or whatever it is. You know, again, we're talking about these drone cold activities. These are the monitoring people that want to give you the negative information. I mean, it's just like classic narcissism is like, they create no-win situations. So no matter what you did, which way you took, you know, it's the wrong way. They have a narrative ready for you. Okay. Like, it's some of the stuff almost feel like they're timeline jumping in reverse or whatever. They know that you end up overcoming. So they go back and switch stuff up a little bit. And then, you know, it's that Princess Bride thing of like, oh yeah, which cup you're going to drink from, you know? Well, they've actually poisoned both of them. But here's the thing. Your spirit team is also reverse engineering all of this, or forward engineering with the past information, or vice versa. And then they've been, you know, don't do this. Oh my God, don't do this. But like spiritually been building you up an immunity so that it didn't matter to everyone. Like, that's not, you know, you know what I mean? However it works, but it's just a metaphor. So some of you have been poisoned, you're like, but no. That's not it was a supernatural, like, healing thing, or like a alchemy chemistry thing, that usually not just a building up a tolerance. But anyway, it's again, let these obstacles and stumbles and just like the stuff that just like this blindsides you, that just means you're on the right path. Like, yeah, you're in the right direction. Okay. And if you find yourself on the team of like overdoing the judgment of those who stumble, just remember that the devil is the accuser of the brethren. And so if it's a brother and you're, you know, I mean, everything that's done in the darkness is being shown in the light. I'm not saying that. Don't shine the light or whatever it is. I'm just saying, you know, something about casting the first stone, and something about just like, we all got our different battles. So every, whatever it is, every besetting thing that we're overcoming, that's your arena to overcome and demonstrate your love of God, whatever it is. And so that's the theater of like, today, okay, I'm resisting this, or I'm doing this instead of this, or whatever it is. I'm not going to, you know, normally I, you know, cure my ADHD with Amazon spending, and now I'm learning financial responsibility, or whatever it is. And so these negative coping mechanisms, or whatever it is that like, you know, was bringing you into a low vibration. And that's like, yeah, this is it's how I'm showing, you know, respect and love back to, you know, break these curses, you know, 7 generations forward. And this is how I'm showing my love back to source and spirit. My gratitude, everything is an expression of my faith and appreciation, and it all counts as reward. So we've got here the 3 of Stakes with Dark Willow. Okay, yeah, so we have you know, it's the 3 of Stakes here, and yeah, there's something here with this in the context of this energy, and what I was saying earlier here, and in particular, just like the shapeshifters, the narcissists. I mean, those really adept like the covert ones, the ones that are able to just sort of like, they've got a different personality for different people, that are master manipulators, that are really just like, they're constantly recalibrating strategies. And I mean, they seem to have like, you know, forward information. They know what your calling is, sometimes better than you do. And sometimes it's like they've gotten the Akashic, they've seen that, and they're trying to like beat you to it or something, that kind of, you know, destiny, something, whatever it is. But this is like, Proverbs 27, where it's like the prudent like see danger and you take refuge, right? But it says this simple. I don't like to put anybody down here, but in a sense of like, don't be simple or whatever. The simple keep going and pay the penalty. And so it's really as easy as like, be wise. Oh, that's dangerous. Don't do that. Take refuge. Take refuge in the Lord or whatever your practice is. The simple keep going and pay the penalty. And so there's just like, there's a shapeshifter energy that is trying the same tricks, trying it's the temptation, but it's there's the, where the landmines are. And yes, it might be a great shortcut, but it's a dangerous one, and your spirit guides are saying to take refuge. You could not. You could keep going. And so, it's saying there could be a penalty associated with that. It's not disqualified. You're not. As if again missing opportunities. Things you have to go a different way. They might go a detour. David was in Ziklag for a while, but he didn't live there. He got out. Other people need your light. You're way more influential than you think, and you want to be able to practice what you preach. And there's a whole calling into this, right? And there's something about recalibrating your strategy and being a little bit wise to like position yourself advantageously. So whatever that looks like for you, it's like, okay, so this is what you're getting the insight of what whatever the pitfall is, the fear-based narrative or whatever it is. Okay, so you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to fall for that trap, so I'm going to position myself. I see the danger. I take refuge. I'm not going to keep going and fall in the same thing, but I'm going to, what's your 5-step plan to overcome this challenge that you clearly know what it is now? Like, what's the thing that locks your heart in before? And was a danger, to your calling or whatever it is. And then what's you going to do about it? and then it's like, well, you've got so much help, and like, ask and you shall receive kind of thing, and like, we're gonna plan together, whatever it looks like for you. Okay, but then like, I'm invited to kind of take that shapeshifter thing through these, because we've got the pentacles, the chalices, and the stakes, and this fell out earlier, the two of skies, so we have all of them. Kind of saving this card for when it should pop up relative, but it kind of gives us the whole rounded out picture here. So, but I'm going to go to the 9 of Pentacles, I believe. That was in the reverse here, because this is where you're like, it's like when you can get, it's that shortcut of and maybe it's desperation, but the shortcut of manipulation. And so maybe that's your pitfall. And it's like, you keep trying to, I'm not trying to be condemning, okay? Because we all do this. And it's like, whatever. I'm not shaming. I'm just saying, let's use an example. Like, maybe you have a little bit of a positive shapeshifter thing, you know what I mean? Like, you've got some tendencies, but it's kind of like you use it for the greater good type thing. But it can be one of those like management techniques or whatever it is. And when you get past, you get the test, you get the trial, and you know that you deserve it, because that's part of manifestation, is realizing that you're worthy of this. But it can be easy to overdo. You don't want to underdo it, you want to overdo it. If you overdo, I'm worthy for this, then it can quickly become, I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to this can quickly become, I'm using manipulation to achieve it because I deserve it anyway, and you don't, whatever, that kind of thing. And so you don't want to use your adaptability to manipulate out of desperation or greed. because this is like that energy of like, you know, he loves money is never enough, and he has wealth is like never satisfied with their income. Part of that interracial curse for some, it might be that love of money that is the root of all evil. That is that the ends justify the means kind of thing, and it's like, oh, you're going to get so much more if you just do it the other way, you know. And I know that ways that served you before, and it's been great, but it's like it's going to be really easy to just like trust the process. I mean, there's an ease. That's when you're aligned with divine purpose and you're doing the right thing. There's an ease of like sleeping well at night and like knowing, you know, it's that free of delusion kind of thing. And we're cultivating empathy. We're breaking narcissistic tendencies, and we're thinking about other people's experience, even if they deserve it, kind of thing. And we're not overdoing the joy in someone else's situation, them getting their karma, kind of thing. You know, our ancestors asked you not to do that, or to sow that seed. I mean, some of you have been through so much trauma and so much like stuff has happened to you that, you know, I kind of get it. That you can take joy in and especially with like, you know, various trigger warning type things. Take joy that there is a judge who brings justice, and you're even getting your justice for those who came before you and those others, you know. But, you know, vengeance of the Lord, I shall not take delight in the, you know, the falling of my enemy kind of thing. Yeah, because there is this like fourth chalice thing too, where we're like, you can get kind of bored and, you know, it's like escaping accountability kind of thing. So I feel like it's like the entitlement that says, I'm so entitled, I deserve to not take accountability or make amends, to make things right, to see my part in it. We can see everybody else's part so much, and maybe they really did some other part, but it's like that Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? And that heart will just say, that'll tell us that, well, whatever I did is justified, because what they did was so much worse. And it's like, yeah, but we kind of all have our own thing to walk through, and what they did is not like, that's kind of between them and, you know, their higher power. But having that free heart, free of resentment and joy, you know, I'm never going to be a person that says, oh, just stay with a locked heart and don't enter your calling because what they did is so bad. I'm going to be really sympathetic about how long it takes to get there, and that the struggles that keep coming up, and they keep coming up, and that trauma keeps going, manifesting in different coping mechanisms that you learned, that. And then in the moments of weakness, you know, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I'm never going to be a person who's going to like say, oh, you know, try to help the devil make the flesh be more willing by using shame to like beat somebody down. Because that's usually just a projection of like how we feel about our own situations. And it's that narcissistic emotional abuse that goes, it's a bloodline thing. It's another curse we're breaking here. So we're done with that energy. But we're also not enabling, and we're not, you know, we're helping understand this is your consequences, this is how they're affecting other people, and this is your consequence, how it's affecting you and your calling. But there's a spirit of gentleness. David said his gentleness has made me great. But there's if someone refuses to accept accountability or own what they did, there's a righteous indignation and judgment that, you know, I just feel like this is not that. But there's a time to whip the tables for, you know, but like some people that's how they address everything, is just put that whip at the table. So yeah. Yeah, so the two skies is this God between two masters. You cannot serve love and money, God and money. They agreed that the desire for other things in the parable of the sowers, Matthew 13, it chokes out the root. Yeah. Of the seed, you know, the light, the source, you know, it's that covetousness, that envy. Okay, I mean, it becomes envy and it's never enough. Like the card, that reading said, it just wants more. It's an endless thirst, right? Because it isn't source, and only source satisfies. I mean, yeah, you're going to need to get more, and you keep filling your cup back up, but of the material things, you're just getting more and more and more, and then it's kind of like it's addictive, and we're defining our identity according to that, and we're just sometimes it more is, you get the blessing because your heart is a fertile ground to know everything belongs to the Most High, and everything I'm going to say, I can give everything away, and then I'll get it back later. I'm not going to let it, weigh down my walk and my heart, and something to keep me from flying. You can fly too close to the sun. You can also be weighed down by the cares of other things. Before, and so that's that. It's that corruptive. The root of all evil. We're on the side of love over money. Alchemy. Taylor. I don't want money. I just want someone who wants my company. We're using money to get friends in high places. Jesus said that. It's mammon, he called it. Everything's for a purpose. You get the money. Is this seed or is this bread? Bread to eat, seed to sow. And maybe it is like your time of rest and relaxation, and you are building this thing so that you can have this resource for other people. You're investing into this business. And I'm not saying not to live comfortably or whatever. I'm just saying not to let the desire for money into more things and that greed that is so corruptive kind of thing. So I feel like that there's that energy here with this card combination here. Because we're talking about Anya, right? I mean, it's like, she is greed, like she's a vengeance demon. But interestingly, she's kind of switches from the demon stuff and from the the vengeance part and it's like that one that brings in others, if you know what I'm talking about. And it brings in envy and jealousy, but it's more of just like that covetousness here. But here we got Anya that finds love, right? That was in the reading. And so it's like, Ecclesiastes 5:10, he who loves money, money is never enough, never satisfied, never can serve two masters, right? These 6, it's like you're gonna love one or hate the other. But it's if money is your master, when Anya's money is your master, it's a funny punchline, but when you have envy and selfish ambition, so you can have disorder and every evil practice. Love of money is the root of all evil, and so I think that's part of like what's being slayed here. This is Anya finding love and valuing love. I mean, she really wanted to get married. At different points, and she wasn't entitled. She deserved that. Ace of Cups. There, she Sandra needed to, man up or whatever. I mean, it's kind of, stop looking over his shoulder or whatever. There was some maturity there that, and there's that mindset. So, okay, we are going to, let's see here, pull a couple more.